What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? It's your boy JP Football Fanatics back with you once again with another season prediction video, record prediction video. This time it is for the Detroit Lions here on JP Football Fanatics for the 2023-24 NFL season. The Lions are on the rise in some ways. They've picked up some good players in the offseason, especially a good safety in Gardner Johnson. They also got a new running back in Jamar Gibbs in the 2023 draft from this season. Traded away DeAndre Swift, which was one of their playmakers on offense. And as far as everything else goes so far, the Detroit Lions have some questions. I think they're good, but there are also some questions that need to be answered and need to be seen as soon as possible in terms of how their season plays out in terms of both, and more so on the defensive side of things. Where do you think the Lions are going to be this year? Do you think they're above? Do you think they're below 500? Or do you think they're a team that's probably going to be around the same as what they were last year, maybe even miss the playoffs? Or do you think they have what it takes to go ahead and win a division title? I'm here to go ahead and be able to analyze the schedule for you. Before I do that, please be sure to drop a like on this video if you have not done so already. Also, too, if you can please also hit that subscribe button under JP Football Fanatics and also hit the notification bell, too, because anytime that I am going over new content for the NFL season, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, if you guys agree or disagree with me, none of that really matters. What really does matter to me at this point in time right now is that you guys are doing what I can to help you guys really entertain and be entertained as far as how the season really goes. And I can't do that without the support from you guys. So why don't you guys just please do me the favor, do all those things, and just help this channel grow to be bigger and better than what it is already. And with that being said, everybody, let's go ahead. Let's get started with the 2023-24 NFL season. Here we go. We have the Detroit Lions schedule for the 2023-24 NFL season. There are some questions I do have about the Lions. I think they're a good team. They should be good enough to go ahead and win the NFC North, with the Packers going to be taking a step back. The Vikings, who could also take a step back because of defense, and their defense is not very good. And obviously the Bears, they're not even conversation about winning the NFC North. So there are some questions that I do have about them. Some may say they're a little overrated. I don't think they're overrated. I just have more questions in terms of defense. And their draft kind of, solidifies that with how well they can play defense, especially when it comes to the pass and the run, because they can't stop the run or the pass either way. But maybe that safety of Gardner Johnson may help a little bit, but we shall see. Let's take a look at week one. Week one, you got to play the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry, Lions fans, you're not going to win that game. It's way too early in the season. I don't typically really like this early season matchup of the Chiefs to open up their season against the Lions. I don't think that's really a good matchup there. I think they're going to struggle against Patrick Mahomes and company, and even Travis Kelce. I think the Chiefs are going to go into this season, open up the season with a win on that one, just because I don't think you guys are really good enough to really be able to stop Patrick Mahomes. But who knows? I mean, the Lions usually do surprise a couple of teams usually during the year. So maybe this could be one of them, but I just don't see it. I don't see Andy Reid starting out the season 0-1. I just don't see it. Week two is another particular game that I would definitely keep my eyes on for, is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Lions. This game could go really either way. I like the Lions' chances to win because I think they could take advantage of the Seahawks' defense. It's not very good. Last year, we saw a mix between both the Seahawks and the Lions. We saw like a really high scoring offensive shootout, and even like running the football, like both teams were able to run the football on each other. I believe the Seahawks ended up winning on that one. So I'm going to say the Lions actually go ahead and take this one this year because this game is being played in Detroit. I think they have good enough skills of what to do. And maybe I think that home field advantage of playing in a dome may be able to take advantage of that. Week three, you play the Atlanta Falcons. Another game that could go really either way. The battle of two of the top running backs in the 2023 draft. I like this matchup. This will be a really interesting game to really see which one who did the better job of drafting which running back, I think the win is going to go to the Falcons. So I think the Falcons are going to start out strong early in the season. So that's going to play a big factor there. And I think they're improved this year. And I think they can take advantage of a weak Detroit Lions defense. And I think Bijan Robinson will do just that. Week 4, you play the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. I think you guys are going to split with the Packers this year. I think you lose to them in Green Bay because that's a tough place to play. And then I can see you guys actually finally getting a win on Thanksgiving Thursday. I really can definitely see that being the case at home. I think you can get that win finally on Thanksgiving Thursday to take advantage of that. So that's where I look on it with that. Week 5, you play the Carolina Panthers. You have Bryce Young, the number 1 overall pick, versus Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. You have Frank Reich versus Jared Goff practically. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it right now. I think this is going to be an either way kind of game. The Panthers came out last year strong, and this was like a must-win game last year in order to make the playoffs, and the Lions got obliterated. I think that's going to kind of continue there. I think the Panthers actually can go in week 5 and beat you guys. I just feel that Frank Reich always finds ways to beat teams that probably should beat them. But I think in this case here, I think you guys can go ahead and, I think you guys will lose this game. Week number 6, you play the Tampa Bay Bucks. You guys should be able to beat the Bucks, especially if the game is being played in Tampa Bay. The Bucks are in a complete rebuild mode after Tom Brady's retirement, and Baker Mayfield can turn the ball over a little bit here too, and maybe he'll pass the ball over to Gardner Johnson's way. So I think you guys actually win that one. Week 7, you play the Baltimore Ravens. I can see this game going either way yet again. The Ravens are a very good team this year, but I could also see the Lions taking advantage and probably play some spoiler alert. But I think at the same time, the Ravens should be able to win this game pretty handily. Week 8, you play the Las Vegas Raiders at home. I think you guys actually can get that win on Monday night. It's an interesting matchup. I'm not sure exactly what the NFL's purpose in terms of scheduling this game for a Monday Night Football game. I thought that was kind of interesting there, but I think you guys can actually get the win against the Raiders. I think you can take advantage. Neither defense isn't very good by any means. So, but I think at the same time, the Lions will start to get hot around this time of year. So that'll be playing a big factor there. Then you go into the bye week, and then after that, you play the Los Angeles Chargers, a game that I would actually. It's probably going to be one of the best games of the week. I think it's going to be an offensive explosion between two of the top offenses in the league, especially with playing with Justin Herbert. When you got Austin Eckler and you got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, you got that whole team going there. I think the Chargers actually beats you guys at home. I think the Chargers are overall, I think they're a better team. And I think Jared Goff will probably have some success in terms of running the football with Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think that's going to be too much of the issue. I think more or less the issue would probably be more of passing the ball, which we know Jared Goff under a solid offensive line, but in terms of passing the ball, maybe they'll get some pressure on there and maybe turn the ball over to some of their secondary players, because the Chargers have a good secondary core and they have a good defensive line that probably could get some pressure on Goff. So I think the Chargers and Justin Herbert win that one. Week 11, you play the Bears. I think you actually, if there's any team that I think you guys can sweep this year, I think it's going to be the Bears. So I'm going to take you guys to beat the Bears twice this year at home and in Chicago. Again, with the Bears, both teams are going to run the ball significantly well. I feel like maybe Justin Fields will have a big game, but I just feel like I just have that gutty feeling that the Bears are going to, the Lions are going to come out in some way, shape, or form and find a way to beat you guys both in the same year. Or beat you guys in the same year this year twice. So we'll see how that goes. Week 13, you play the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. A game that could go either way. Derek Carr, Dennis Allen, the head coach. This game could really go either way. Nonetheless, I think you guys take the L on that one. I think the Saints are an improved team. Derek Carr is an upgrade over both Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. Alvin Kamara will be probably a problem here too, depending on whether or not he's suspended. We don't know what the questions rely on him. A solid offensive line, and then you got to play a solid defense. And I don't think Jared Goff is going to be able to keep up with that Saints defense. So I'm going to say the Saints take that one. Then we talked about week 14 at Chicago. I think you guys sweep the Bears this year. Week 15, you guys played the Denver Broncos, another team that's like, again, a tough defensive matchup here. The defense for the Broncos is going to be really, really special. It's going to be really hard to do. But I think you guys can beat the Broncos, though. I don't believe in the Broncos just yet until I can see them make some big changes. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, if you can find a way to beat the Broncos in some way, shape, or form, if you can contain Russell, if the Broncos can go ahead and Russell Wilson can play back to old Russell Wilson, maybe the Broncos could win this game. But I think the Lions win it. I think they're stronger offensively. And Russell Wilson, again, is just too inconsistent right now. We don't really know what game of Russell Wilson we're going to see that day. So I think the Broncos need some more time, nonetheless, to form up the team that they want to be. But I think the Lions win that one. I think you guys can win that one. Week 16, you play the Vikings. I think you guys are going to split with the Vikings yet again. I'm going to say you guys lose in Minnesota, and then you guys can go ahead in the last week of the season and you guys beat them. Then the last week of the season, you play the Dallas Cowboys in week 17. The Cowboys are a good team. But I think the Cowboys beat you guys. Yep, I did pick the Cowboys to win last time when I did my Cowboys prediction. So I'm going to stick with that. I think the Cowboys defense, Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore, and that offense for the Cowboys is going to be a lot for the Lions to stop. So going back to the Vikings game, I think you guys can split with the Vikings this year. Offensively will be very hard to do with Kirk Cousins and company getting Justin Jefferson acclimated and Jordan Addison too, who will be other side receiver to help out. And, I think it will be a good game. It will be a very good game, but it's going to be a lot to do. So overall, I have the Lions being at 8-9, which could potentially be enough. Like I said, there's a couple of these games that you probably could win. Right now, you guys are at 8-9. I could see you win a couple of these games here. Like, you could probably win the Falcons game and be 9-8. That could be just enough to win the division. Or I could also see you losing to one of these games. Like, I could see you maybe losing to the Bucs because it's in Tampa, vice versa, and you beat both the Falcons and the Panthers. Like, I could definitely see it that way. So overall, 8-9, 9-8. Maybe 10-7. I think that's good enough. I think it's good enough for the Lions to be right around that time frame. So what do you guys think about the Lions this year? And do you guys feel like they're going to be good? Do you think they're going to be above? Do you think they're going to be below 500? Where do you guys feel like the Lions are going to be? It's your boy JP Football Fanatic saying, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Peace.